Okay, real talk. I need everybody listening to actually sit with what's happening this week. Not scroll past it, not half listen while you're in traffic. Sit with it. Because this week, in my opinion, was one of the most consequential weeks for the balance of power in this country and in the world that we live today. And it's one of the most important things that we've covered on the show. And I know we say that a lot, but this week I mean it completely differently. This week I mean it because not three or five different stories. It's essentially one story surrounding one man, and that story has one name. Now let me build this for you from the ground up because I know some of y'all will tune in and you're gonna be like, "What's the border peace? What does the Supreme Court have to do with Iran? Why is Chidi talking like this?" And I'm gonna explain everything. I'm gonna make it simple. And by the time we're done, we're going to see why all of it, the Supreme Court, the Middle East, and this thing called the border peace, is actually the same thing, all surrounding the same thing, and of course, the same person.
I'm so sorry. We just got break. I'm so sorry. Breaking news. But I'll break it after the monologue. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all good.
Um. Well, I do want to ask with the Supreme Court because that's where this week opened up. I think we should start there, right?
Absolutely. I think we should definitely start with the Supreme Court because this weekend or this week, the Supreme Court handed down a bunch of rulings this week. And I want to focus on one that matters for the most because it matters towards what we're kind of talking about today and tonight. The court ruled 6-3 that the President of the United States can now fire people who run independent government agencies, like the Federal Trade Commission, which regulates corporations that protects consumers, without giving a reason. None. He just fires them.
Mm.
Now, let me explain why independent agencies exist in the first place, real quick, because this is important. The whole point of an independent agency is that it doesn't work for the president, it works for the public, the people. The FTC isn't supposed to be loyal to whoever is in the White House. It's supposed to be loyal to who, whether corporations are breaking the law or not. That's it. It's supposed to be unbiased. Same with agencies that oversee consumer financial protection, the agency that oversees labor laws, the agency that oversees nuclear regulation. All of them were designed to be insulated from political pressure. So they could do their jobs without the president calling them up and saying, "Hey, stop investigating my friends." Now, that protection just got removed. For 91 years, it existed. Think about that. 91 years, this existed, no problem. And then Trump comes into office second term, and we get this removed. This week, completely gone. And the court did it specifically in the case of Trump firing a woman named Rebecca Slaughter from the FTC, a Democrat, for no reason. He just fired her. And the Supreme Court said he's allowed to do it. Yep, that's about right. You can do that. It's fine. No reason whatsoever.
So what I'm understanding is this means every agency that was supposed to be on a check, on or to check corporate power, uh, with executive out overreach, the president has the ability to play favorites, right? These agencies now have to answer to him directly, whether they know it or not. That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, essentially. And to be fair, the court also ruled this week that the Federal Reserve is protected for now. That's
Mm.
five to they ruled that 5-4. Now Trump tried to fire Lisa Cook, the first black woman on the Federal Reserve Board, and the court said, "Hey, not yet." On a technicality, Roberts wrote that the Fed is too important to global financial stability to let this happen without proper procedure, which is a relief, but it's also, and I want to be honest about this, it's a narrow procedural protection. The door isn't closed. It's slightly less open than it was before, and it's slightly less open than Trump wanted it to be, essentially. So the court ruled this week Also, that birthright citizenship is constitutional. So let's give a clap and a round of applause for that, because this means that the 14th Amendment means what everybody who has ever read it said it means. If you're born on American soil, you are an American citizen. Trump tried to end that by executive order on day one of his second term, bro. The Supreme Court said no, 6-3. So that's a win, a real one. And the trans sport ruling, states now can ban transgender girls from public sports. That's a real loss for a real group of kids whose ability to participate in something as simple as a school basketball team just got decided by 9 people in robes. Not their coaches, not their parents, not their teammates. It's 9 people in robes. So the scoreboard from this court this week is complicated. And I want you to hold all of that. The removal of independent agency protections, the Federal Reserve hanging by a thread. Then you got birthright citizenship, which is a win. And then the trans kids seems like they took a loss this week. So hold on to all that, because now we're going to talk a little bit about Iran.
I mean, if that wasn't enough,
I know, right?
let's just let everybody know what's been happening as simply as I can say it, right? Because y'all know with me, I try to get straight to it. No foreplay. U.S. and Iran have been at war, straight up, no fake, no for play, a real ass war since February 28th of this year, right? The U.S. and Israel, let's not forget about that, and Israel struck Iranian military and government sites, and that included killing the top Iranian officials, or some of them. Iran blocked the Strait of Hormuz. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but what y'all don't understand is that particular waterway, like we've been saying, it carries 20% of the oil that moves by sea on this planet, not just to the U.S., the planet. And because of this war, that strait being blocked sent oil prices completely through the roof. And as an American, you and I have felt this at the pump every single time we tried to fill up our tanks.
100%, man. And now think about that. Like, that was around February, right? Now we fast forward to June 17th. This is less than 2 weeks ago. Trump and the Iranian president said, hey, we're going to sign what's called the Islamabad Memorandum. The name sounds impressive, right? But what it actually is a 6-day framework, not a final peace deal, but a 6-day framework during which both sides were supposed to stop fighting and figure out a permanent arrangement, right? So Trump signed it at the dinner with Emmanuel Macron in Versailles. That's the French president, Emmanuel Macron, in Versailles. Very cinematic, very dramatic. Everybody knows the Treaty of Versailles ended World War II. This is where he saw us, and it was very, also, as it turns out, completely meaningless.
I mean, ain't like everything this man do is meaningless, but we're here to give you a little bit of facts, not a lot of jokes. 4 days later, on June 21st, which is 9 days ago, the U.S. bombed Iranian nuclear facilities in Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan.
4 days after signing a ceasefire, guys. 4 days. Crazy, right? Now, to be fair, the U.S. said they were authorized to do that under the terms of the agreement. Iran disagreed. And then on June 25th, Iran attacked a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz with drones. And then U.S. struck Iranian military targets on June 27th. And then Iran struck a U.S. military base in Kuwait and Bahrain. Shit. And Trump posted now on Truth Social that if U.S. is forced to act again, and I quote, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. Bro, that sentence is sitting in our Truth Social post right now as we speak. Iran will no longer exist. That's how our president talks. And Iran's military said any more U.S. strikes will result in the complete halt of all negotiations. So you have Trump threatening to end the country completely on one side, and Iran threatening to end diplomacy completely on the other. And somewhere in the middle of all that are people who live in Kuwait. We don't talk about these people enough. There are human beings living in Kuwait, living in Bahrain, living in the Gulf states where the U.S. military bases are now getting struck by also Iranian drones. Those people did not sign up for this. They're going about their lives, going to work. They got family, they got friends too. They're going to the grocery store just like me and you. They're putting their kids to sleep and they're waking up to sirens because two governments are using their countries as a battlefield for an argument they're having on social media.
Well, that's usually the best place for things to, get your transgressions out, on social media. But that part doesn't make the headlines enough right there. A country or two are being used as a battlefield for two other governments throwing bombs at each other.
It doesn't, bro. It really doesn't make sense. It doesn't make the headlines enough. Truly, the people involved in this that are living in a battlefield, because the people in the Strait of Hormuz region aren't abstractions. They're human beings, and the ceasefire that was supposed to protect them is currently being violated by both sides, while both sides claim that the other one started it. So that's where we are right now.
That's where
Now,
we are right now. Okay.
now, now let's talk about the border peace real quick. And I know y'all might not know what the border peace is, so I'm gonna break it down for y'all. And I want to start this section by asking y'all to picture a club, an exclusive club, the most exclusive club in the world. In fact, Trump literally called it the most prestigious board ever assembled. Now I'm hearing a double. I don't know what's going on the other side.
Okay, I was trying to mouth it. I tried to text it. I didn't want to interrupt you. I was about to write in the Twitch chat.
It's all good. We'll fix that in a second. But basically, think about this club. You can join this club for free, But if you want to pay a little bit of money under the table, you get a seat at the table. You need to pay $1 billion though. 1 billion in cash within the first year. Cash on the table. Permanent seat. Now no cash? Yeah. You get a 3-year membership, subject to renewal by the chairman.
Think the chairman must have been listening to some Ice Man. Bees on the table. Bees on the table. Bees on the table.
Fuck this
Now,
nigga,
let me guess who the chairman is, please.
yeah. Yeah, of course. Of course, it's Donnie Boy, Donald Trump.
The
Oh,
boy.
Donnie Boy, the boy, the boy. Yeah. So Donald Trump permanently, potentially for life. The charter lists him as the chairman in permanent capacity. Which, when you combine that with the fact that the chairman has sole authority to approve all board decisions, means this organization is structured so that one person has ultimate authority over everything it does and can never be removed from that position by anyone other than themselves.
So, I guess a lot of people will ask, "Do you want me to take over while you fix the audio, or you got it?"
No, I got it. I got
Okay,
it.
all right. Now, I guess people will ask, what this club do. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm asking as well.
Well, officially, it's supposed to rebuild Gaza, right? It's called the Board of Peace. It was created in November 2025 as part of the deal to end the war between Israel and Hamas. That's what they said. The UN security then eventually endorsed it. 27 countries joined, billions on the table, B's on the table. And at the first board meeting, Trump announced that the United States is contributing $10 billion of American taxpayer money to this board. No one knew he was going to do that. He just said that at the first meeting.
Now, I just want to ask, right? Did anybody authorize this? Did
You mean like
Congress authorize this? That's what I'm at.
Of course not. Congress did not authorize this. The State Department pulled $1,250,000,000 from an international disaster assistance and peacekeeping funds, funds that were appropriated by Congress for other purposes, and then redirected it to the Board of Peace just because Trump said so, without asking Congress at all. Now, a senator
Mm.
named Catherine Cortez Masto introduced a bill specifically to take 1 billion of that money and to redirect it to an organization called LIHEAP. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna get the acronym in a second, but I don't know what that stands for at the moment. But essentially, this program is a program that helps low-income Americans pay their heating and electric bills. And because the war in Iran is, raising gas prices and they're surging so high, American families have been struggling, and her bill has not passed till this day. The money has already gone to the Board of Peace.
I mean, I don't even want to ask, but I have to. What has the Board of Peace actually done with this bread?
I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, that's not good news, bro. Like, as of most recent reporting, it has not transferred any funds directly to Gaza. None. Zero.
Why would it?
Despite pledging $10 billion, no major contracts have been issued, no money has arrived. There are meetings happening in Cairo with Palestinian administrators and about governance plans, but
Mm.
the money hasn't moved at all. And there's no public accounting of where it is or what it's doing or where it's going to go, even if they do it, if they do help out Gaza, you know?
Any court in Gaza?
No, the Guardian yeah, but
Oh,
yeah. So this week, the Guardian gets a document,
oh, okay.
and
Wait, I thought your last word was in Gaza.
no, it wasn't. But the Guardian essentially, I want y'all to know this real quick. The Guardian gets a document, a 4-page draft resolution labeled "sensitive but unclassified," titled "Resolution Number 2026/3." And what this document says, what this document that was drafted to govern the Board of Peace operations in Gaza says, is that every member of the Board of Peace, every member of its administrative office, every Palestinian technocrat working under it, every international military force operating in Gaza under its authority, every contractor hired to do reconstruction work in Gaza is immune from any arrest, from any detention, from any legal proceedings in any court in Gaza. They're making Gaza a complete Wild Wild West. Now you can say it. Any court in Gaza.
Any court in Gaza. Any court in Gaza. Like,
Yeah, any court in Gaza, bro. Like, and here's the part that makes it worse. If someone does something wrong, if a security force member shoots a civilian, if a contractor seizes property without compensation, if someone is harmed by the operations of this board, the person who has been harmed cannot go to court and sue. Instead, they have to file a claim with the Board of Peace itself. And the Board of Peace, the organization run by the same people who may have caused the harm, will decide whether the claim is valid. That's not accountability. That's a suggestion box. The only person who can strip someone's immunity is the chairman, who is Donnie Boy, the boy. Subject to majority approval from 7-member executive boards that includes his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and Marco Rubio. Now, he can decide who is protected and who is not in a territory where over 73,000 people have already been killed, 20,000 of them children, since October 7th, 2023.
now, the Palestinian the Palestinian administrators in Cairo who are supposed to be governing under this board's authority. I'm sure they knew about this immunity framework, right?
The document had not been shared with them. It hasn't been shared with them at all.
Huh.
The people
So
who,
the
yeah,
money, the laws, the immunity, they like them. Did what the fuck is going on over there?
yeah, I know. The people whose land this is, the people whose home this is, whose dead are buried there. We're not told that the framework governing who can be held accountable for what happens to them was being drafted. They were in meetings about governance plans, and the immunity resolution was happening in a different room. So that's like, another country coming out here and saying, oh, after Hurricane Sandy, we want to revitalize, and help y'all with Atlantic City. And but hey, listen, all the people that put money towards this stuff and are board, we put together an ordinance that if we take the land unlawfully, y'all can't do nothing. If one of our freaking construction workers ends up pulling a gun out and killing somebody, they're good. Nobody can do shit. If somebody gets harmed in the construction of our new fucking hotel or casino out there in Atlantic City, yeah, you can't do nothing about that. They can't sue. It doesn't matter if they work for us or if they're an American or if they're a Palestinian. It don't matter who. They can't sue. They can't do nothing because I mean anybody that comes here to reconstruct this piece of land, they are completely immune to any type of law. They can go out there and rape people. We get to decide if there's any law. It's sick. Um, Now,
These guys are these guys are. Okay, so let's get into the show. It's 10 o'clock. So here's what we got. Right, this is what we got for you. It's been a tough week. It's only Tuesday. Supreme Court expanded presidential power over the agencies that are supposed to regulate corporations and protect the public. Those agencies now answer to whoever is president. The ceasefire in Iran is actively falling apart while both sides strikes each other and Trump threatens to end the country over a social media post. And the organization that is supposed to rebuild Gaza and bring peace to one of the most devastated places on earth is designing a legal framework that shields everyone involved in it from accountability. And the people it's supposed to serve weren't even told. So there we
yeah,
have it.
yeah, man. This is not necessarily three different stories, guys. It's one story, and we all know who's in charge and who's responsible for all of this. This is what happens when accountability disappears from all organizational and constitutional and fucking governmental facilities and ordinances. This from agencies that regulate Wall Street, from diplomacy that's supposed to be preventing the war, from the reconstruction of a territory where 73,000 people, excuse me, have been killed. Um, Damn, that's a lot of fucking people, man. When you remove the mechanism that holds power responsible for what it does, you don't get freedom, guys. You get a space where power does whatever it wants, and the people who get hurt have nowhere to go.
So just like the people in Kuwait right now, waking up to sirens, they have nowhere to go.
Palestinian family whose property gets seized by the Board of Peace contractor has nowhere to go.
The consumer who gets defrauded by a corporation where the FTC regulator just got fired has nowhere to go.
In my opinion, all of this is the same sentence. All of this is the same story, and all this is happening right now, this week, today, and all due to one person. That's the show.
Everything is unaccountable.
Let's get into it. All right. We live. We live. Thank y'all for joining us here. Yes. Thank y'all for joining here on Everything Is. Let's bring the vibes up a little bit more. I know it's a lot of heavy topics today.
This nigga
I
said,
know
let's
it's
bring
tough.
the vibes. He's about to go right back into the heavy
Listen, man.
topics we did no matter what.
Listen. I mean, just for the intro, at least we gotta have a good intro, at least. We gotta bring some energy up. I got the music playing a little bit just for the intro, at least get ourselves back to base. Because yeah, it's a lot of fucked up shit going on. A lot of people don't want to look at the world the way that we do. A lot of people don't want to understand what's going on in the world. When we talk about 73,000 people losing their lives, we don't want to know. We want to live in the matrix and eat the steak, and not really have to deal with the realities of what's going on in the world. But here on Everything Is, we talk about everything that matters, man. We are the zeitgeist. We are the culture. I'm your host, Chitty Bang. And this is my tag team partner. Who's going to roll with me on through all these dire topics. I'm going to drag himself all the way through this. Chris, the Most High. Joint Reliance told him. So how you feeling, brother?
I'm just here for the ride, big dog.
No, but listen, I know.
Gotta let a nigga ride the wave, no. Ride the wave. Let a nigga ride the wave, no. Skirt.
Listen, I know you don't like the show, but you care, and you honestly do have some really great insight on all this stuff. It just, I think
it's really, I think that the tough part is that realistically, like I do see where a lot of American constituents are very much exhausted in the foreign, because you got to think about, this was a ground on which people platformed on, right? Like like you're coming from a generation where we have not seen a ton of light of days, right? Like I was in 8th grade when 9/11 happened, right? So from 9/11 to the war on Iraqi freedom, to the war and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, from then getting out of that, and then we have Donald Trump in 2016, and it feels like it has been a tailspin of just like, can this generation, and then bypass that, we have COVID. COVID shuts not only our world down, but the world down.
Yeah.
And so by the time we're back outside, a lot of people is just expecting just a little inkling, a little shimmer, a little dot of glance, or whoever worked customer service, that at a glance, that at a glance screen when you work in customer service. Niggas want to look at that at a glance screen and be like, all right, this ain't gonna be no horror call. Nigga, this motherfucker, this call for the last 2 years, but in the foreign
and beyond 2 years, you're right.
And yeah, you're right, because and I think this is a direct kind of, again, we as Americans did not support the war in the war that was going on with Russia and Ukraine. We did not, as an American society, as American citizens, did not support the funds, the resources, the standing next to, because at the end of the day, Russia is very powerful in how they perceive things, right? They are a power within themselves, right? And so it was off-putting for a lot of blue representing Americans who's like, hey dog, what you doing kind of ain't against what we want. And then so my man Trump platform was like, I ain't never give you an award. Never. Me? Trump? Never give you an award. And that nigga Trump, very first day, nigga was like, oh, we bomb him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm not here to act like Trump is fuck it. No, Trump is fuck that. Let me hit the drop.
All right, thank you, because I know you are trying to say
I'm
Trump
Donald
is
Trump,
what he is,
and I
because
approve
he
this
is what we say he is.
I'm here to Trump watch this nigga like every fucking week. We gotta watch what he does, and it hurts to pay attention to what he's been doing to the world. And I got to watch what he's doing and document it, because for all I know, one person can hear what we're saying and, make a change with something happen, or tell people who might not know and just keep people informed. However, I'm not trying to say Trump is the only person to, go to war and bomb, and every president has done it. Every single president has done it. It doesn't make it okay though. It doesn't make it okay. But then you compare that with the complete lack of accountability and how he's trying to strip away accountability for other, real time, um, when he's trying to strip away accountability from other mechanisms we put in place to prevent us from turning into, England in the freaking feudal 1600s. We don't want a king. This is the whole reason
But
why we create. Go ahead.
this is I know I was about to. I was no. I'm saying this is why they're trying to keep us dumb. I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
go ahead.
This is why the school systems
Oh
and
my God, you're right.
because all my life I grew up learning about checks and balances.
Hmm.
All my life I've learned about, we have this branch that protects from this branch, we have this branch that watch over this branch, we have this branch to watch over this branch. It's a triangle where
Hmm.
power is evenly distributed between the three branches of government. Now, I do want to quiz my people. Name the three branches of government. Do we
Oh
remember?
yeah, well I do.
I'm not you might
Yeah,
not you, but
yeah,
I'm trying to, but this is
yeah.
what I'm trying to say. We have removed ourselves so much to understand what the judicial, the legislative, the executive, and what they do and what they're supposed to do and what they cannot
Cannot do,
do.
especially what they cannot do. Exactly. And I'm gonna share a video with you guys real quick on what these Supreme Court rulings mean and what it says to what Trump can and cannot do, and what we can and cannot do in America as per these Supreme Court rulings. And then we're going to talk about the Supreme Court justices that have ruled in what favor and what and specifically to know who did what. Because I want to sit here, as much as they're trying to hold nobody accountable, I'm here to hold niggas accountable. I'm here to know exactly who are the ones that are making these decisions specifically.
MS Now legal affairs reporter Fallon Gallagher is outside the court right now. MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin is here at the table with me, as well as our legal analysts. I have former Manhattan Assistant DA Catherine Christian and former U.S. Attorney Barb McQuaid. It is so good to have all of you. Fallon, I'm going to start with you, though. So Chief Justice John Roberts wrote both of these decisions here, but the Cook and Slaughter decisions sort of represent a mixed bag. Walk me through how the court split.
Yeah, the chief wrote both of these opinions, which is not surprising because typically he takes the biggest ones for himself, the thorniest cases. Now, the way that this split is perhaps the least surprising decision that we've seen thus far, and that's because the court kind of tipped their hand much earlier when they decided to take both of these cases from the emergency docket. You'll remember they allowed Lisa Cook to remain in her job while this litigation continued, but they allowed President Trump to fire Rebecca Slaughter. So now today, the court is denying the Trump administration's request for a stay of a lower court order that blocked Lisa Cook's firing. That means she gets to stay in her job. But also, unsurprisingly, the court is sort of punting on the overall question of whether or not the president can fire a member of the Fed. Now, they've signaled very strongly in this opinion that they view the Fed differently, but for now, this will go back to the lower court. As far as Slaughter, I cannot underscore how fundamentally this will reshape executive power. Of course, the big headline case for this term will probably be birthright citizenship, but this case is so significant for the president's executive authority. They are overturning nearly a century of their own precedent and allowing the president to fire independent agency heads at will. Now, of course, before there had been statutory protections where it had to be for cause, either for malfeasance or negligence or something like that. Now the president is going to have the authority to change that. And the chief actually signaled that during arguments pretty clearly. He was talking about the way that when Humphrey's executor, which is the court's precedent of 91 years, was decided, the executive branch looked very different and these agencies had much less power. But now, of course, they have significant more authority, and the court views that as too far. So that is a 6-3 Roberts opinion along ideological lines, whereas Cook is 5-4, also a Roberts, but not along ideological lines. But Slaughter, I cannot underscore how significant this will be for the president's authority going forward. This is a court that continues to hand this president unprecedented authority. Antonia?
So they obviously, like we talked about, they're giving Trump extreme power to, really reshape so many different levers that were put in place to protect people, right? Like, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or a Republican. This is not good for you. This is not good for you if you believe that one day there will be a Democratic president, really. Like, you don't want the executive branch to get more power than they've already gotten, because then you're moving towards a more of a dictatorship, a monarchy, whatever you're trying to say, where it's only of one person's judgment. Especially with Trump, you know that he's trying to do things that benefit himself prior to the American people. He's not a man you look at and you're like, you know what? He's really out there trying to give us more money. He's the same man that said he does not even think about the Americans' financial situation as it pertains to the war. So when you talk about that, and you kind of put things in perspective, you gotta realize that this is extremely unprecedented. 91 years, you haven't been able to have the president choose who or fire people who were working in these independent branches that control regulations for companies and make sure that they have fair business practices. This is also for the EPA, people who Environmental Protection Agency, where make sure your water is clean, make sure that they don't infringe on the Native Americans' protected land, making sure that that they don't put a freaking nuclear reactor in your backyard where you're getting radiation poisoning. These are the things that he can just fire somebody if his friend works for some kind of nuclear facility and is a CEO over there. And hey, man, can we just put this shit in Utah? And it doesn't matter whoever. It could be New York, right by me, Bear Mountain. Let me just put a nuclear facility, a reactor over there that could blow up, and cause the entire town to have radiation. There are certain residential laws that prevent that from happening, but they can repeal all that under this because there's no independence now when it comes to deciding what's best for the people. And it's extremely damning, because this is not going to be held up in the right framework going forward within the next 2 years of this regime. And I'm just wondering how much damage is going to be done that's going to have to be repaired. Like, yeah, we can then get a Democrat in office and repair some of that stuff, but in the meantime, there can be a lot of damages when it comes to your financial stability, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your security as a human being in America. So that Supreme Court ruling where he gets to now fire anybody from any independent organization that regulatory organizations for the government, it is really damning, and I don't think people get the gravity of how big this is.
I mean, there's a ton of people not understanding the gravity of what things are or where things are at and how things are doing it. I'm sorry, how things are being perceived and proposed. As we just had the Kids Act that we talked about, right? The Kids Act passed 267 to 117, and again, this essentially is going to lead to biometrics being implemented in our everyday usage of the internet. I mean, I don't think people really understand the lengths that people are going to take this by using your kids as a shield. You see what I'm saying? Like, so when you're saying like the depths of things and how people are supposed to interpret things, right? Oh yeah, of course I want this to ban my kid from. Nigga, we taught how difficult it is to block shorts. This act ain't finna stop your kid from watching shorts where people themselves. That's not happening. That's not how I
And
do.
if
I had
and,
to.
and if your kid does happen to get influenced by a short, what's even worse is that they cannot be held responsible anymore. This version of the Kids Online Safety Act, like we mentioned last week, removes it kills hundreds of lawsuits against Instagram and these
And
social
Meta.
media apps and Meta,
Yep.
Facebook, because they don't want to be held liable for your kid's safety at all. But they want to capitalize off of it and make it more and more addicting for you guys to be on these applications. And like we're saying today is, everything is unaccountable, and that's what we're trying to get to is that I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, you should want a country and a government that holds the people in charge accountable. You all are talking about, oh, we're the party of law and order. Your president has been legally
Mm.
convicted uh, of sexual assault and rape. I'm just gonna say it. Then you now saying that he gets this guy whose moral is in question gets to decide how the FTC chairman's who's in charge and what they do. This is sick. This is sick. You know, and this is one of the most important political questions in the moment right now because what does the executive branch? How much power do you want them to have? Do people really want to have a king? If you don't, then you should be up in arms about this. But people are going to go about their business. But let's say we get a Democrat in office. Now they can use this as a weapon because they're setting a precedent now. They can fire every independent agency head day one. The Supreme Court just ruled that presidents can fire members of independent agencies without cause. The precedent does
Mhm.
not belong to Trump. It belongs to the presidency. A Democratic president in 2029 could walk in and immediately fire every Republican appointed commissioner at the FTC, the FCC, and the Commission
Mm.
of Financial Protection Bureau, the National Labor Relations Board, and every other independent agency, replacing them with people who aggressively regulate corporate power, strengthening labor protections, and expand consumer rights, and pursue antitrust enforcement against the largest corporations in American history. Trump used this to remove accountability. A Democrat could use it to install accountability where it has never existed before. So technically, we might go through a tough time, but in the long run, if we get the right person in office, this could shift the chessboard completely for the corporation versus us. This could really, if we get the right person in charge, now you guys have set a precedent where we say, all right, it's not too fun when the rabbit got the gun, and we can put somebody in place that really comes at these corporations hard.
Well, I mean, not yes and no,
I knew it was
right?
coming.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm looking at in my phone. I can't stop. A Virginia county with 37 data centers asked schools to conserve electricity to to mitigate the 25% increase in electricity costs. Right. So like,
Yo, wait. Was that the breaking news you said?
no, that wasn't the break. The breaking news is that Trump's financials has been disclosed, and he made 1.2 billion in his cryptocurrency
That was a scam, by the way.
that he made money off of.
He's
Yo, the books is open, and this is what I'm trying to say. People. So when you say when we're speaking to people who say they want less government involvement in their life. Okay, well, we got these niggas that's just about to have full autonomy. We just talked about for you to
Let me say
log into
something real
your
quick.
phone.
I don't mean
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off, but
Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
when you say you want less government involved in your life, do you realize what you're really saying? That means you want more privatization. That means you want more corporate powers to control your life. And that means you want somebody whose main objective is to increase profits to rule your life. Do you guys not get that connection? Like, do people want to say they want less government overreach? Oh, they don't want socialism and communism? Guys, we are so far away from socialism and communism that it's never going to be an American policy. We are never going to be a socialist or communist nation. Get that out your head. That is impossible to happen here, guys. Relax. Stephen A. Smith, you don't know what it is. You don't even know what socialism and communism is. He's talking out of his ass. They're just so stupid when they talk about these things, as if
Whoa.
they
SAS got a shell driven. It's a ricochet
what?
shot. I said SAS got a ricochet shot delivered to this thing.
It's not
Now,
just
if I
him,
was-
but these niggas just
I
talk
know,
about
but
socialists
yeah.
as if they know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't
They
know what the
don't.
fuck they're talking about. They just don't want people to get taxed. What they don't realize is that we are overly giving opportunities and money to these corporations. It's not fair. What you're realizing is the chessboard has been slanted against us. They don't get that. They don't get that ESPN is raking in money. I get it. You work for ESPN. You're a corporate guy who loves capitalism. Yo, they should not be hoarding all the money in the world and having multiple media corporations that control the message for everything that we see. This is not a healthy society. It's not healthy. So this whole thing of like fearful of communism and socialism, yo, Mamdani's killing it out here in New York. The people voted him in for a reason, and then they voted for everybody he endorsed because they see what he did in the first 6 months. Because it gave them hope, and people are actually having a better life because of it. And why is that so hard to say, you know what, I appreciate what this guy is doing? Why is it so hard to give a socialist idea some kind of credit and not fear monger it in a way that's like it has to be looked at from a standpoint of the Soviet Union and people starving and the government choosing if you eat or not. That's not ever going to happen here. There's way too much money going to corporations that capitalism is just gonna fucking disappear. So relax. And that's what I hear when I hear people like Stephen A. Smith talk, when people on Fox News or CNN say, they just throw out communism and socialism as if they know what they're fucking talking about, as if that's a reality that's possibly gonna happen. When the truth of the matter is, Social Security, food stamps, SSI, the freaking police department, fire department, our infrastructure, the roads, our construction. These are things, the trash being picked up. These are socialist ideas, and it's a matter of in America of finding the levers of where we can add socialism to help people and where we don't need it. We're not saying that nothing should be private, and I think that people are so fucking stupid when they think that we're saying nothing should be private anymore. That America should be America's capitalist country. No shit. No one. No shit. We have trillionaires walking around now. So get with the fucking program. Get with the reality. Try to learn something about what's going on really on a ground level in this country and understand it from a grand scope that corporations and rich people are not the only people in this country that should be served. We have cut taxes for the rich every single president that we've ever had. Enough. Enough is enough. We've reduced regulations for companies. Enough is enough. So when I'm saying that, like, now that they've used this, they've rigged the country, and now they're rigging it even further, where they can change the FCC and the FCC and choose who's hired and fired on these independent boards. All right, bet. Let's get a real one in the office, in the seat in 2029. Let's get a real president in the seat in 2029 that is like not pussy. Y'all saw what Trump did. I don't want this decorum. I don't want this nice shit. All right, use the same things he did to reverse course. That's what I'm looking for in a president.
Well, I mean, to your thing of what you're looking for in a president, you're asking a question of what are we going to get for what are we going to get for diplomacy after this? Like, has he laid the blueprint for people to say fuck it?
He has.
Right. So we have lived a life long enough to know that once toothpaste is out of the tube, you gotta go get a new motherfucking tube. Right? And we can't get another government, right? The government that we inherited, the government that we've been acting under, the government that we have been, right, for all of this to take place with, again, having majority in the House and the Senate and having the ability to sign a piece of paper, it's law. There's no checks, there's no balances, there's no let me see if Congress allows me, there's no excuse me. Nigga, even when there was a filibuster, people were still doing what the fuck they wanted to do as far as in power. Right? Like you had a lot of even during Joe Biden's presidency, we had a lot of things that in Obama's presidency, we had a lot of things that was not getting passed by or passed through, whatever the case may be. Realistically, we have never been so beyond bipartisanship then we like it's one sided out. It's and so that's why I think the infighting within the parties are so interesting because now I believe it segregates those who have a little sense from those who think that they can make the sense. You know what I mean? Like when you have someone of because I don't know what a far leftist is. I do want to again preface my commentary by saying I don't know of any Democratic uh, uh, representative coming out and collectively in unified fashion say, I don't really know what we're doing against the label of us being or pushing a trans agenda, right? For that particular reason, I'm asking, where does this far left thing come from to where we're not as central and neutral as possible? Because we know that as that benefits not just our constituents as represented from the Democratic Party, but those from the Republican Party. Like I do feel like the literacy of what it is in these lines and this identity politics that we fall into, I find it real off-putting that we can't get on an even Steven playing field to where we can actually have an idea and be like, okay, we're going to eliminate this MAGA right. We're going to eliminate this whatever you think, and we're going to get back to centrist. I don't mind somebody being progressive, and I don't know what these names are: progressive, moderate, progressive, centrist. Like, well, like I don't know what
That's why they don't matter to me. Honestly, it's what you do. It's what you do. It's what you do. The problem is when people see liberal, when people see centrist, when people see all that stuff, they get a label. That's why I like Black Watch, Vote Watch. You get to see what the fuck they actually did. You know, pay attention to what these Congress people are doing, man. Like these people need to be watched. Once again, these people need to be fucking watched.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
If we don't pay attention to what they're doing, they will take advantage of every opportunity they can. What I want from you to understand is that take the time to look into people's policies and what they stand for. We just talked about AOC yesterday. AOC said she wants public housing. She wants to work with Hakeem Jeffries, even though he's a centrist or Democratic centrist, to get that done. All right, that specific policy she wants done. Let's go. Let's get it done. Now, you got Ro Khanna, you got Thomas Massie. They work together on the Epstein Transparency Act. We don't agree on shit but this. And they worked on the Epstein Transparency, and they got that done. Still haven't gotten all the releases yet. Nobody's been freaking arrested yet, which is crazy. But at least we can see that happening. We're not always going to all agree. Not all the people on the right are going to agree. Not all people on the left are going to agree. But what we got to understand is when we see extreme or blatant favoritism, blatant lack of due process, lack of going through Congress and the House of Representatives to take money of your tax funds, your tax money, to go build a border peace organization to then harm or capitalize on Gaza and the sufferings of real people, capitalize on the deaths of over 75,000 people. That's what he's doing. He's taking your tax money to build out stuff in Gaza. Nobody in America should be okay with that. There are certain levels of checks and balances that this nigga Trump is completely hopping over, and no one even knows about it, much less speaks about it. And I think it's disgusting. I think it's sick. And
Well, yeah, I do, but it's tough. And we said it. We're not going to single him out because he's not the only one doing it.
no, he's the only one doing that. He's the only one doing the border peace, taking $1 billion of your tax money. No one's doing that.
Yeah, he's the only one doing that. Yeah, but okay, no, but no,
I'm not just talking about the war. Like, I'm talking about everything combined.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, he's the first crypto president, realistically. I mean, well, not really, but Biden was, but I don't know if Biden knew what the fuck crypto was. But Trump knew what it was enough to know he could scam a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think Trump to the most, like, nigga, if NFTs was around, nigga, I think Trump would have been the first NFT president, my nigga. Like, he would have sold pieces of the White House on NFTs. Matter of fact, let me zip this up. He might fuck around. He might still do it before he get up out of here and make some more money.
He might. But as funny as it is, it's a complete bastardization of the office. Like, a president has an emoluments clause. You're not supposed to accept gifts or use the presidency to get financial gain. And you just said, you breaking news, Trump just made 1.2 billion off of the presidency and crypto. And this is what's like regular news on a Tuesday, guys. Like, wake the fuck up. There should be people with pitchforks and shit at this nigga's house because there's an emoluments clause for a reason.
You know what we should do? Have him wear a tan suit. You said pitchforks. You said have niggas going outrage. You said you want motherfuckers to get on his ass. Somebody need to go in Trump closet, take all the blue suits down, and just put one tan suit in there. He like, I don't know where. Put it on. Come outside.
You're right. That might be it, right? A tan suit might get you to wake up and see all the corruption that this guy is doing. So I don't got the time for the niceties anymore, the false conversations and the how can we come together and all stuff. Listen, people are actively trying to defend pedophiles and trying to protect pedophiles. That alone is an impeachable offense. That alone, this crypto shit is an impeachable offense. The entire war of choice is an impeachable offense. But people are pussy, bro. The entire Republican Party is pussy.
Democratic Party,
huh?
Democratic Party too.
Democratic Party too, but they ain't got the House or Senate right now. They ain't got the House or Senate right now. So yeah, they pussy. But at the same time, Republicans, human beings that you guys elected in, are allowing this guy to do this stuff. And let's get to it. Let's talk about the specific human beings in the judicial part of this country. Trump has appointed Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. 3. I'm not sure if any other president has elected 3 people to the Supreme Court in their lifetime. He put 2 in his first term, and he put all 3 in his first term. The first one, Obama was supposed to do it, but he didn't fight. He didn't fight to get Merrick Garland in there. So
yeah, that's what we have issues with, and I know. Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
we're not about to turn this into. We're not. No, I'm not about to have you yell at me. We're not about to turn this to a Biden Obama thing. We're not about to do this. But that when we're talking about jobs for life, like when we're talking about setting people up for forever. You know what I'm saying, nigga? Like, when we're talking about that, we had a real we will never, and I do not say this with hyperbole. I don't think without a catastrophe happening to this country that we will ever be blessed enough to have another male black president that I see. 37. I don't know what the life expectancy of me would be, but without a catastrophe, a catastrophic event in the world of America that lives 250 come July 4th, if there is not another fucking American Revolution or some shit like that nigga got to clean up after, we will never get a black president. And the time that we do, at the time that we got him, during the changes that the world was possibly being able to like accept it, because hey, I saw Obama. It wasn't all white people hating Obama, bro. Obama met veterans. Obama met white ladies. Obama met white boys at the college campuses. Obama was Jeff Hardy over in 08. For him not to put something in place to protect us 20 years from now, because he had no idea that his great American country was going to do this. He did not have, I don't think nobody had the foresight. But still, everybody has their chance to put their guy in. We use sports analogies all the time. When you get a new GM, you hire your own head coach. When you get a new owner, he hires everybody new. Like with Obama being president, the playbook, and I'm watching this guy Trump look at all of things that have happened before him and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that either. I'm not going to do that. And by him going against the grain so many times, it feels like it's with the grain.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And that's why I'm having this conversation with you tonight, is because I can't sit here and act like, well, it's Trump. I can't stomach that. I have to give this stuff the amount of absurd and reverence and outrage it deserves. I do, because if we sit here and like, yeah, what's new, while he rips apart all due process of how to go to war, of how to send money and create a fund for the slush funds here, making money with crypto. Oh yeah, you know what? I get to just fire the FTC head because I feel like it. This is unprecedented shit, guys.
And
Trump
you
is
know why
different.
his money's being disclosed? You know why we get to look into the books now? Because he solidified himself not being caught. He already been caught. He now prevents himself from going to jail. He has immunity for him, his family, and anybody. Nigga, I wish I wasn't so good at being good, because I'm not good at it. I should have bought in. I feel like I should have sold out. I should have bought in. I should have been following some of these tea leaves. I should have put a little breadcrumbs in here and make little ends, cuz this nigga making money for anybody who said, oh, he about to do this. Because niggas like me, like, nigga, they not gonna let him do this. Like it, like you know what I mean? There's no, it's too much.
He's been a scam artist his entire life, and y'all gave him the highest, seat in the fucking world to do what? To scam us. He's scamming us, and don't jump on board for shit, bro, because he's gonna scam you too. You're not going to be successful. The people who are supporting this guy,
I wasn't gonna make no money. You're right. I wasn't gonna make no money.
Are not making bread, bro.
You're right. You talked me off the ledge. I feel like one of them white trailer park people. I would have not made no money off that, because we all broke.
So this Trump versus Slaughter case is a complete landmark case. The conservative majority voted in favor, allowing the president to fire members of the FTC, as we're talking about, at will, while the liberal minority voted against it in a 6-3 decision. And I want to say their names. The court's 6 conservative justices ruled the statutory restrictions blocking the president from removing FTC commissioners without cause violate the constitutional separation of powers. That's John Roberts voted in favor. Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, who all were Trump appointees. The dissent, the court's 3 liberal justices disagreed with the ruling, arguing that the decision fundamentally reshapes the structure of the federal government by stripping independence from long-standing regulatory agencies. So Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Shout out to these women, man, who are trying to fight back against these 6 conservative Supreme Court justices who are completely blinded by
You said
whatever.
blinded. They not blinded. They bored. That's a different B.
No, you're right.
That's a different B, bro. They not blinded. They see exactly what they see because they see that motherfucking check coming. They see that donation coming. They see that motherfucking. They see it. They absolutely and go to sleep with motherfucking like Kendrick Perkins say, with the AC on 63 and a box fan on. Them niggas don't give a fuck about what they do because they know they going to hell when they die.
The separation of powers have been completely removed, guys, and it's getting crazy out here. And y'all say y'all don't want a king, but y'all don't want communism, right? Wait until this guy gets more power. Y'all will be under communism, thinking you're under capitalism, and he owns everything, and he gets to decide whatever you do. And that's the crazy dichotomy of this. He's lying to people and doing the exact opposite things of what they want. Now, that's the Supreme Court stuff. Now, we also had the Birthright Citizenship was voted on, and that's a loss in Trump's book because I'm really proud to announce that finally these conservatives were like, yeah, if you're born here, you're an American citizen. Like that right there, I don't know what maybe they weren't bought about this situation, but maybe that.
Well, because most of they, most of they y'all means is from y'all mean, you know what I'm saying? So they can't have they can't have their
I'm not sure if they
kids.
can even get it up, man. These niggas over here, they're old as fuck.
Nah, man. Nigga, it's nah. We ain't talking about the old y'all means. We talking about talking about the niggas in Congress that got the Philippines. We talking about the young niggas that's getting we talking about them niggas that's because that's where it comes from, right? That's where it comes from. We have a lot of people. Again, we're a sovereign country in some to some degree before clearly all of this. So yeah, you come here. Even if you are undocumented, you know what I mean? But your child has the ability to then be a United States citizen, and the family lineage goes from there. So like, that was a real plan for people, and that was a real thing that people try to go against. As again, we talk about controlled population and everything like that, and they wanted to make sure that because from what I understand, I think Georgia right now is the first state, or not the first state. I believe I read it. They're the first state that is now minority majority, right? Which I don't believe that that's what the idea of these white people want it to be. Right? They never want to be a minority, right? So with them trying to shut down birthright citizenship, it gives them it would have gave them some type of reasoning for them to go continue to do what they were doing in inhumane ways of just shipping people out, packing people up, which I think they had if you didn't have a procedure in place to do that correctly, if you didn't have a procedure in place, and I get it, under the jurisdiction of MS-13 and all this other dumb shit and Somalis and everything like that, all that. But if you don't have a real plan in place with all of this technology to then identify, hey, this person actually got a motherfucking citizenship test next week. Like, this motherfucker been here all this time, waited all these years, studied all this American history, and then because motherfuckers want to swoop up and ship him out, And the reason why people don't go home and come back over the right way, because it's difficult going home and coming back over the right way.
That part.
Nigga, I'm already here. Let me just figure this shit out since y'all the land of the free. You know what I'm saying? Let me figure this freedom shit out and I get back with y'all. I get right with you. I'm on my Migos shit. Let me get right with you.
Get right with you. Now, let's hear what some of the most racist people in America had to say about this shit.
The idea that you can have a country where you just set foot on U.S. soil and any child you have gets to be an American citizen and vote in our elections, collect our welfare, sit in our juries, sit in judgment of our fellow men and women is such an outrage to the idea of having a country. It defies description. I don't know what they're going to do, but here's what I can say. If this country doesn't, one way or another, end birthright citizenship, this country doesn't have a future. Citizenship has to be sacred and precious.
Sacred and precious.
I really struggle to accurately convey just how extreme, how unhinged, and how, frankly, racist that position is. But let me try. Stephen Miller's reading of the 14th Amendment had already been repudiated by the Supreme Court more than a century ago. It's a famous case. It was in 1898, the case of Wong Kim Ark, who was born in the U.S. to Chinese parents. That court then, operating in 1898, said, if you're born in the U.S., you're a U.S. citizen. They looked at the plain text of the law, and they found that. And they handed down that decision, get this, 2 years after upholding racial segregation in Plessy v. Ferguson. Those justices, the ones who enshrined Jim Crow and the laws of the United States, they cemented separate but equal. But even they upheld birthright citizenship in a 6-2 vote because the language of the 14th was plain as day. That is how racist Stephen Miller and Donald Trump's argument is. It is more racist than a racist reactionary court. The infamous Plessy court was almost 130 years ago. Think about that. And the other thing is, there hasn't been any real legal or historical shift away from birthright citizenship since then. There were a few, again, anti-immigrant cranks on the right, which you'll always find, right, turning out diatribes against anchor babies. But didn't matter. Naturally, Donald Trump courted them. And then last year, remember, he finds himself back in office, and he's got his hand-picked 6-3 Supreme Court majority, where 3 of the justices were the ones that he elevated. And so he went to work pressuring them to reimagine the Constitution. In fact, to rewrite it, to essentially amend the Constitution by fiat in collusion with him and 5 votes. Remember that he even went to oral arguments to physically intimidate them, to glower at them. It was a first for a sitting president. Now, it didn't quite work. He lost today. We all, as Americans, won. The court still did the right thing, but barely. I mean, by a shockingly narrow margin, by 1 vote. In 1898, the margin was 4 votes. Today, by 1 vote, this court rejected what would amount to rewriting the Constitution on the fly. In some senses, overturning the victory of the Union forces and the multiracial coalition that refounded the country after that victory in the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Essentially just taking white out to an amendment that was bought with the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans in the Civil War. It's jarring to think that the very right to have rights in America hinged this week on John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. The lesson here is Donald Trump lost, thankfully, but this court, whew, it has to be addressed. It has to be dealt with. And this movement, the movement that brought us to this point, has to be defeated thoroughly and completely.
Oh boy. I'm really glad that I can be an American. I'll say that. You know, my parents were immigrants. Now they were citizens when they had me. But the way things are going, even citizens who have babies who weren't born here, who knows if they want them to be, as long as you're not, I guess, white or from only a white. They're bringing in a lot of white South Africans now, It seems like it's intentional. And I think that it comes from this whole replacement theory, like you just mentioned. They're worried about being the minority, and that fear is it's super telling to me. It's more like they're telling on themselves because if you're so if you're so staunch on the Constitution and what this country is, and why are you afraid of becoming a minority? Isn't the policies and isn't the Constitution and the bills that we pass and the process, the checks and balances that we set up, isn't that enough? No, it's not enough for some people because this guy Stephen Miller, who's a complete racist, who's right by Trump's side, has made that his mission to end birthright citizenship for a long time because he realizes that America is a country of immigrants and he wants America to be a country for the people who have already been the majority, which is majority white men. Let's be real. So, although it was a slim majority, I'm grateful that today we can sit here as Americans and say we're not going to force kids who are born here and only know America as their home, that they are no longer going to call this place home. Because that is a sick reality to be born into if this were to pass. That's all I'm going to say. Are you speaking? Are you muted?
I'm muted. I'm muted. There's not much to say really in regards to. I mean, again, you said it's a win, but they don't handle losses well, realistically, right? So, I don't know what evil they have in place of them possibly losing this night, because it usually in some business, right, in some negotiations and some form of fashions where you don't have to win everything, you be like, all right, they got this one, they got this one, all right, they got this one. This collection of people, it's been stolen from me, it's not right, it's been a miscount. Clearly I don't understand, I'm the most dominant, I win everything. So like, I don't know what can happen. I don't know if this motherfucker might go to the Constitution and just rip out the 14th Amendment out the book and just say we ain't got no more 14th Amendment. I don't know what this nigga could do. I don't know
That's
what this nigga could do.
yeah. I get it. I get the concern. But
Like,
hey, this is just
he don't like it, nigga, and it can be gone tomorrow, nigga. Like, that's how he operates.
it's a Supreme Court ruling. So he has to abide by it. Hopefully, this is one example tonight of the checks and balances working, where we are not coming back here in a month and saying, "Oh yeah, that's birthright citizenship is still on the table." You know, I fucking can't stand people who argue this birthright citizen thing because it's rooted in white supremacy. Period. It's rooted in racism, and I don't think this is even a. It's not even worth a conversation because if you can't see that, then we're living in two different realities. Honestly, um, how are you gonna be born somewhere and have no home? Like no, you have no citizenship. Like you're not a citizen of anywhere. That's what they're trying to make happen. Um, listen, man, fuck these people, bro. Fuck Stephen Miller. Fuck Donald Trump. Eat the loss. Your Supreme Court voted against you. Your own Supreme Court said, "Hey, man, this is a bridge too far." I don't know why, because they clearly didn't do that with the FTC firing. But I'm happy for this one.
That's one. What my nigga Sky Hall say? One for the good guys.
One for the good guys. One for the good guys, man. Now, moving on to the transgender ban. So, turns out Supreme Court has ruled to uphold this transgender athlete ban. Whew. This one is dicey. This one is dicey. I feel bad for the trans kids, but I see both sides of this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do see the concerns.
Issued major decisions today, including a 6-3 ruling, which the High.
Okay, so it was a 6-3 ruling. Let's check it out.
Including a 6-3 ruling, which the High Court upheld state laws banning transgender students from competing on girls' sports teams. President Trump is applauding the decision, calling it a big win. Joining us now, two people who back bans on transgender athletes in women's sports. Madison Kenyon is a former collegiate athlete. Kristen Wagner is the president and CEO of Alliance Defending Freedom, who served as co-counsel defending West Virginia's ban before the Supreme Court. Thank you both for coming in this afternoon. So, Madison, just first of all, what's your reaction to this ruling?
I'm ecstatic. I'm so excited that this has come out. My heart is full of gratitude for the attorney generals and for ADF and all their work on this, and to know that no female in the 27 states that have the protection will have to compete against a male like I did and be pushed back, watch their teammates pushed off podiums. That won't happen.
When it comes to the decision here, the 3 liberal justices did concur in part. They also dissented in part, arguing that the majority had wrongly decided that trans student athletes cannot bring constitutional challenges against the state bans. How do you take that? How do you respond to that?
I think it's important to recognize what the court did rule, which is the majority. And the majority of the court ruled that under Title IX, you don't have to overhaul girls' sports in order to allow men to compete against women. Also, the majority held in the 6-3 that, again, biology is real, that it matters in sports, and that states have the right to be able to protect women and girls.
But what do you make of, too, specifically, that they said that they had wrongly decided that trans student athletes cannot bring constitutional challenges against the state bans?
There were two essentially arguments. One was under a federal statute, Title IX. The second was the Equal Protection Clause. And let's be clear about what the 3 justices did say. They couldn't even say that a boy who identifies as a girl has the constitutional right to do so. They simply said that they thought the lower courts should have to study that issue more carefully in the facts. But we also know that there's a consensus in the science right now that there are inherent physical advantages that the male body has over the female. And we also know that 8 in 10 Americans agree with that. It's common sense.
Okay. What's your take, bro? You muted?
I mean, let's talk about this on July 1st. Celebrate them when they last day of the month.
They didn't wait at all. They didn't wait for it to be over.
Let's celebrate them when they last day of the month.
We ain't gonna wait.
Okay, so here is my thing. I believe this probably only revolves or relates to collegiate sports, I will hope. I'm not too brushed up on that, because my biggest talking point is that I don't believe that we should be discussing any sex affirming or gender affirming topics or discussions while in high school. For me, I don't mind high schoolers expressing or experimenting or accentuating their possible knowing who they are, right? Feeling like who they feel like, and expressing themselves how they want to express themselves. As far until there is physical, gender affirming surgeries to then alter themselves into being themselves, I do believe that everybody, when you sign up for school in high school, when they put male, female, or when you have to give your birth certificate to go to school and stuff like that, whatever's on your birth certificate, I believe that's where it should be.
Okay.
Until you get to college. And then if we get to college and we're having surgeries and we have the ability, and you are, even though you're still on your parents' insurance until you're 26 and you have the ability to do so, but you're in college, I do believe, and that's when we have to talk. But go ahead and get me off the path if I'm
so this ruling came out today. This is a ruling literally today on the last day of Pride Month. So I think I'll be honest with you, I think this is to protect both trans people, men and women. I think the Supreme Court ruling, it's ruling in state level restrictions. It applies to K through 12, so it applies to public schools and collegiate sports. So that's to clarify that. I think that transitioning from a male to a female or a female to a male, to me, is a huge decision, right? And I think that, respectfully, I don't think that the world, though as it currently is prepared to have the infrastructure for including recently transitioned men to females in women's sports and make it fair for all people. Now, if we were testing the genetic hormones and seeing if the estrogen levels were equal and testosterone was equal, maybe we can make a case for it, because that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying. Maybe in the future
that's only for me. That's only like Olympic stuff.
Yeah. So
for me, like that's that's Olympic stuff. We're talking for a state to regulate, or for you go to a university or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey man, say man.
It's the world is just not set up for it to be fair. Let's just be real. Let's just be real about it. There are advantages for testosterone in males who have now say I'm 15 years old now, I'm transitioning, and I get to compete with the girls on their sports and dominate. And we've
it's
seen
against
it
the rules to reclass.
Yes,
it's like to reclass as a same sex where you see Cooper Flag reclass for what, nigga? So you can look like the number one player, and by any means, there are parents, schools, and like, hey, nah, man, this nigga was born. He need to play. Mm-hmm. But you have the ability to do that, and I don't think that's right. So I don't want it to make it seem like we are. I don't want it to make it seem like I am against what it is that the sensitivity that we're speaking about, man.
You talked about the LGBTQI plus community this month, and we support the community. We have no problem with it. Just yesterday, we had somebody in the chat from this community, and we were having a conversation. We have no problem with that. The truth of the matter, what the fuck is this? The truth of the matter is, we gotta also be realistic on what the current state is of the infrastructure to ingratiate this in a fair way. Now, the decision to transition is a huge decision. You have to make that decision knowing that I may not be able to play sports the way I want to. If not, then you got to wait until you're old enough to do that, to make that transition. And That's a tough decision, and I don't want to put a trans child in that dilemma, but that's the reality of it. The infrastructure, the world is not set up in a way, because for the dawn of time has been, male, female. Now we're trying to ingratiate the spectrum of that is, gender fluidity, but we're not set up for it yet. It doesn't mean that one day we will be in a better space with it. I'm just gonna see the world for what it is right now, and I don't necessarily think this is to harm them. I think it also protects them from the scrutiny and
But
the go ahead.
no, go ahead, because I was gonna say with the
And from the
protection, it
scrutiny
protects both times.
yeah, and the hatred they get when they actually go and compete against a female athlete and win, and you don't want you to win and then say you only did it because you
No, but that's
transitioned.
real though. That's
Like
real.
that. You
I'm
like if
not gonna
that's
hold you. That's real.
no, that's what. But
That's what I'm
no, no,
saying.
no. That's my point. My point is that I don't think the trans athlete should want that either, of being being talked about like the only reason you won is because you transitioned, or the only reason why is because you had testosterone and now you had an advantage. You should in sports you should not want an advantage. You should want to win on your own merit. So I think this does protect you from that. But it's such a big decision to transition that you have. I think that you should be an adult before you do it. I mean, you can't even drink until you are legally
21.
21. So to change your entire gender, I do think that you should be a
Yeah.
little bit. Your brain is not
Yeah.
developed until you're 25, like fully. So to know for sure that yeah, I want this for my life and change,
Yeah.
I do
I'm
think
not
that
hearing.
it should be at some point because and you're gonna
If
have
you
to make
making
a choice.
if you transition, your last thing you should be worried about is sports. For me,
Yeah.
if I'm keeping it a buck, if I'm just right now talking on a podcast, my nigga, like if you transition from a male to from a man to a woman, and your ideology is I've always was a woman, but I'm a woman at hoop, nigga, nigga, I ain't even finna hold you, dog. That wasn't your purpose from transition. To me, it made me feel like I couldn't cut on the minting. Now that's just me being like,
Well, we got a
that's just me.
comment. We got a comment, and someone says,
Oh, okay.
Matt Shoot
Oh, it's the
Pal.
guy.
Okay, you were here yesterday. So it says females need to get over it. It was a matter of time before men changed their whole sex to steal glory for something they're good at. That's crazy. We do it at every chance. Trans are fine with me, but I agree. Stay out of the actual female-born sports. And then he said that's insulting. I'm not sure what's insulting specifically.
No,
I'm
I
not sure
think it's
what part.
insulting for.
Oh yeah,
I
okay.
think it's insulting that you come over. You come over to the spot. For me, honestly, realistically, wholeheartedly, I think we should create a transgender division that does not isolate you, that puts you in the pool of, again, we have Pop Warner leagues where you do age verification. You can only play through this age. Sometimes when your boy is of an age and of a certain weight, then we make exceptions and you have weight classes.
Yeah.
If your boy is too doesn't meet the age requirement and of the weight division, they'll tell that kid, "Hey man, you're on rations. You got to lose some weight to play with your age group, or you got to sit out." There's weight classes in
weight classes for a
fighting.
reason. Yeah, fighting.
There's
Yeah.
legitimately, bro. I made the joke, and I don't want to cause no disparaging thing, but like everybody know Lou Dort from OKC, and if you don't know Lou Dort, go look up Lou Dort from OKC. Nigga look like a big ass 6'5", 6'6" linebacker. Motherfucker decide that he want to go hoop with Angel Reese and them. Nigga, he gonna be the greatest player in the world. You're the greatest player WNBA ever seen.
No. I think that I think you're right, and we have to be sensitive to the conversation because we understand that kids are dealing with this, and it's a tough situation because you almost feel like you're not accepted. There's no real place for you. So I'm very sensitive to that reality, but I'm just being real. the infrastructure for transition and then put them in the women's sport and keep it fair is just not there yet. So I think we're in this weird space where, yeah, if you get switched over and you play, ice hockey or you play basketball and you dominating, it's going to be looked at a way, and you don't even want that type of scrutiny on that child to even make it even worse, because then you're going to get hate from different women and men who are going to say that you're doing it for different reasons. And Matthew Powell says, a natural born man to change their sex via surgery and want to be better at sports than your original sex, it's weird. He says, like to spend all the money to be you. Who cares? Why can't you just be a woman against the guys? Then it says, there's like no, let's get into women's division. What's the point? We all see you.
Yeah, it's. I think and growing up watching the movie JuWanna, man, right? It was a joke. It was a joke of what was to come. But the real crux of the plot for that movie was a man went in to dominate a woman's sport and realized, oh, girls are just as good as me. Give a fuck, nigga. He was a man still, nigga. Nigga. No, he got kicked out the league. What happened was he got kicked.
But he said they're just as good as him. If they're really he got kicked out for a reason, maybe. I'm just saying.
Well, so I mean, the plot was, I guess.
I'm forgetting.
No, I'm saying, I'm saying Hollywood. The plot of Hollywood. So it wasn't so derogatory. The plot was, no, women can hoop just as good as men. Really? I love Asia Wilson. If Bam want to get at that ass at the crib, nigga, ain't shit Asia can do with Bam. I put it on whatever. If they ever just rolled the ball out, nigga, Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson are together. They're a couple. They're both really great basketball players. Really great basketball. Olympic gold medalist basketball players in their own right. Now, Asia in her league is considered
the best,
the greatest fucking player to probably ever put on a motherfucking wig and hoop it up over here, nigga. The greatest. Bam, scored 83 one time. You know what I'm saying?
Scored 83 one time is a big deal, though. That's a big deal,
nigga. That's what I'm talking about. And Bam saw Asia, nigga. He's seeing 83 every time, nigga. He's seeing 83 every fucking time.
Oh my God. But then we gotta bring into question, there's people who take hormone blockers. How long does it take before the hormone blockers kick in and to when it actually, makes you feel more feminine or you are equivalent to a woman's hormones? There's a lot of science behind it that we're just not there yet, it's tough. I feel for the children who will go through this identity crisis, because it has to be an identity crisis. Trust me. Like, if you feel like you're born into something that you're not. However, I genuinely believe that we're just not set up for the realities of it. So the Supreme Court ruling, I don't want to say that it can't be overturned in the future or whatever, but I just think we're just not right now in that space. And I hate for this conversation to be dragged into the next election cycle and be the reason why we're fighting over the trans rights situation.
But that's what's unfortunately going to happen, because that's what happened.
But
right?
It's already decided now. We can.
No, but who's moving on, brother? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe right now. As we just said, one thing last time was a win.
I mean, the federal. I'm talking about the federal conversation can move on. I'm not saying that we can't find avenues for trans people to have more rights and ways to compete. That's not what I'm trying to diminish here. I think that we should figure out that conversation too. But it doesn't have to be a political conversation, honestly. Like, there is a reason why it's unfair. I think that even if you're a trans person who wants to compete, can realize that, yeah, this not might be fair to women's sports to have a man who are or a woman who used to be a man competing against them and beating their ass. It might be unfair, and if you can't see that, then I think that's
And I know,
where the
and I know,
conversation will be, a little bit
and we
messed up.
only talk about gender. We only talk about transgender women. We only talk about because realistically, that's where it matters the most, right? There's never really like one of the comments asked is like, do women play do women ever play football? You know, no,
Yeah.
not unless it's some lingerie football shit that they just started making up. But
Hmm.
even then, it's women on women. Like there have been chat um uh women kickers, like female kickers on a male team
Yeah, true.
that come in and kick field goals and stuff like that. But has there been a female quarterback, a female running back, a female wide receiver, a female linebacker laying down hits, a female Cam Chancellor playing safety?
Hmm.
No, we've always had a a a a um a, a um a biological born female play a man's sport where she is protected
Protected. She's
and
not
and, and
not
some
no contact, not where
yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
physical struggle with a man. You don't want that. And
And
I
you
think
do have
Matthew,
some women hoopers that want to hoop with men to get better, but men automatically pull back.
yeah, true.
Like
They
men
don't want to hurt
pull
a
back.
woman.
They don't
Yeah,
want to hurt her or give them the full force, or they
yeah.
don't go with their whole move. Sometimes I'm gonna shoot all jumpers. Like sometimes niggas don't go downhill. Put the check, nigga. I'm putting this
Hmm.
elbow in, and they don't embarrass. They try not to because they know it's just inherently
So,
something you don't do.
Matthew Prowse, I think, said a good point. He said trans rights are fine, but just don't insert more problems on your path to be you. And I
Mm,
think that's where and I don't want to look at it from a point of they're inserting more problems. I think that these problems exist and they want to talk about it and they want to be seen as full human beings. But I think I think what you're saying, there's something to that some people are making it an issue and making that the linchpin on what their
yeah,
identity is being a trans person
yeah,
who's able to go into sports with a woman and compete and fighting so hard on that they can't see the lack of fairness in that situation, and where we would have an issue with that. So I think on
unaccountable,
both sides of the aisle,
unaccountable.
whether yeah, unaccountable. So I think that sometimes when we're in these spaces, when it comes to the LGBTQIA plus community, there has to be a conversation. And because we've been in a place where, there's been discrimination or, their rights have been dismantled, that the anger we hear from it over is over than the rationale. And I want to get back to the rationale, and I want to see the human first, and this human does need to be seen while we fix out the interworkings of their human rights and what and their civil rights. So that's where I stand with it, because I don't ever want to dismiss a person's human and civil rights in this conversation, because I do want there to be a space for them to grow and feel comfortable. He said, trans is a thing. I'm gay. I see you. I'm okay being a male. I'm not in your brain. Who cares? Don't transform, then see how much chaos you can create in heels. Sheesh. Damn. You must have seen some shit.
Well,
You
I
must
mean,
have.
realistically, he's making a real point here by saying it seems like the male ego stays when you turn into a woman. Because realistically,
I think everybody has an ego though. Like I think this male ego thing.
well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Men can be a little toxic, but yeah, like everybody got it. I think there's women who want to be that bitch.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, you majority of the times you see a naturally born woman walk into a male dominated space and implement her dominance by being a naturally presented woman. You don't necessarily really see, in my case, just speaking, a transitioning woman to man then become more of what the
Okay.
to participate in the
psyche
patriarchy
is still feminine, or the psyche is still male. Is what you're trying to say?
Well, I
Some
mean,
point?
there is a legitimate when we're speaking of a man transitioning to a woman and then making it their staple to perform and produce and participate in women's sports is kind of like a male psyche ego thing still permutating through the female body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a man, I can do what I want. I mean, I'm a woman, I can do what I want. I mean, yeah, I should be able to do what I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it is.
I can't speak to it. I try to just be open-minded. He says that the trans people are rich to begin with, that it's expensive, and it's usually white nepo babies. I don't know. I couldn't say. I know I've seen some black male trans people. They look just like me. I've seen this, so I don't know. I don't know much about. I need to do more research. I need to do more open-minded and just find more information about it. But from what I'm trying to say is from my perspective, I'm trying to see the reality of, okay, this is what you are. You don't believe that you are comfortable in your body. You want to change it. Cool. People get plastic surgeries. People get BBL. People get face reconstruction, lip fillers, facelifts, and all that stuff. Do you to make yourself comfortable? I don't like even BBLs. I don't even like that plastic surgery. But that's for somebody who I'm, dating. I'm not gonna, date somebody who I'm not, who has those things, because I'm not into that stuff. But it's not, I'm not gonna say somebody can't do those things, and do and because to make themselves feel better. But yeah, man, it's a complicated situation. I just wish that, I hope for more people to just, give these people their humanity and not judge them so harshly, or make us, because like we talked about the trans agenda and all that stuff. It ruined the last election, and it became such a big topic when it's really, there's more to the beyond the Kamala Harris ticket than that. But that was what the ad was, and people started saying like, oh, she wants trans people in the bathrooms, and he wants to give money to prisoners for trans reassignment surgery, and I don't know where the conversation went so left, so that I think kind of lost for the election too, partially. And I think that we want to get to a more rational conversation when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely. I think for the most part, when we speak of being rational, it's not kind of where we end up at realistically talking about things like this. So, that's
unfortunately, I'm trying my best. But man, last two conversations. Let's pivot over back to Donald Trump real quick.
Okay.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Donald Trump, man, he has a board of peace situation, and he has put together, as we said in the opening monologue, that he put together an organization called the Board of Peace. You can pay $1 billion to join this Board of Peace, and this Board of Peace is put together to essentially bring peace to the Middle East, right? However, he's been using this Board of Peace coalition to, one, enrich himself, because people are putting in $1 billion to it. He has complete rule over this organization, and he wants to essentially be in opposition to the UN, and he wants to be in charge. They are now working with Palestine to rework Gaza and do help them out, but not $1 has been sent their way yet. That was what the UN has agreed upon, that this body was going to help Gaza rehabilitate and bring peace. They're called the Board of Peace. But what it's done is really just enrich Donald Trump. He has taken $1 billion of taxpayer money to create this Board of Peace organization, and now other countries can buy in to have a membership with $1 billion. And essentially, what's going on for real is that they are now trying to use this money to essentially privatize Gaza and create Trump resorts and casinos and hotels. And what's worse is that there's been a leaked document as per the Guardian that says that they have no accountability or jurisdictions to be sued for anything done to the Palestinians while they're there. No detainment, no jailing. They can go out there and, if there's a protest, they could shoot somebody, kill somebody, and there's no repercussions for them whatsoever. This is a story that has not been talked about in the media, like, at all. Matter of fact, the only person that has been talking about is my boy Kyle Kulinski, man, and he is on to this nigga. He doesn't let shit slide when it comes to Trump. So I'm going to go ahead and share his a little bit of his video so we can chat about what's going on over there.
So,
Yep, let me scroll up. Is it am I scrolled up?
no, you scrolled up looking at the Supreme Court. You got it?
Got it.
Scandals, about 26 scandals. So one of the major Trump scandals about 26 scandals ago was this thing called the Board of Peace. Now, for those of you that don't remember, the Board of Peace, the idea of this thing was, oh, this is actually above and beyond the United Nations, and like it's going to make decisions that impact the world in a positive sense. And the first thing on the agenda, they said, is we're gonna fix Gaza. We're gonna fix the whole Gaza situation. Nobody worry about it. And so the way Trump approached this was, he invited a whole bunch of nations, may have invited every nation on earth. I don't remember all the specifics, and then he goes, okay, so to join our Board of Peace, which is above the UN, you got to pay like $1 billion each. What? And so ultimately what ended up happening was you had all of the incredibly backwards, dictatorial, developing nations that just wanted to get in good with the U.S. government. They were like, oh, okay, we'll pay you $1 billion bribe to get into your club, which you're pretending is this legal agency that has responsibilities, even though it's not. All Trump is doing is raising money illegally to create a slush fund that only he controls. Again, does this sound familiar? This is what he's done in like 28 different ways, right? This is what he did with the massive slush fund with the money that he got from stealing Venezuela's oil and selling it. This is similar to the idea of the slush fund where he gets $1.776 billion and pays off January 6th insurrectionists and terrorists and his family, right? He has so many ways of doing this exact same thing. Let me create a giant slush fund, pretend it's for some official thing, and then basically just steal it. That's what he's doing. So he creates this Board of Peace. And not only is he stealing money by raising money from, developing third world nations for it, but he also demands, I believe it was $10 billion from U.S. taxpayers for this thing. Mind you, literally all of this is just wildly illegal, completely and utterly illegal, incredibly disturbing. And again, nobody talks about it. Nobody cares because this is so many Trump scandals ago that people don't have the capacity to keep up. J.D. Vance was not wrong when he said Watergate these days would be a 12-hour story at most and then it'd be gone. He's 100% right. But that's because his regime is so immensely corrupt and disturbing that we can't keep up. Everybody's outrage meter is broken. The media literally cannot follow all of it because it's like 5 or 6 things on any given day that are actually worse than Watergate, this being one of them, by the way, okay? Draft documents obtained by The Guardian show President Trump's UN-backed Board of Peace for Gaza is considering sweeping legal immunity for its members, security forces, contractors, and Palestinian officials working under its authority. Let me pause to ask you this question. Why do you feel like you need sweeping legal immunity? I thought you guys were all about delivering peace around the world. What are you talking about? Why would you need sweeping legal immunity and protection? That's weird. Almost like you're breaking the law, you're committing crimes, and you're planning something incredibly, deeply nefarious. Listen to this. The draft resolution would shield them from any arrest, detention, or legal proceedings in Gaza while allowing the board to adjudicate claims involving injury, death, and property damage through its own internal process. Legal experts told The Guardian the proposal could leave no meaningful external oversight or accountability. They say the draft also says the board would receive public land and facilities in Gaza, quote, free of charge, raising concerns among legal experts about the potential confiscation of Palestinian property. Let me repeat that. The draft also says the board would receive public land and facilities in Gaza free of charge, raising concerns among legal experts about the potential confiscation of Palestinian property. The Board of Peace denied any operative immunity framework exists and said reports suggesting it seeks immunity are wrong and misleading. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure the Guardian got it wrong, and it's not that you got it wrong. Okay, do you understand what's happening here? Remember when Trump came out in the White House and said in a very straightforward way, I'm going to take Gaza. I'm going to own Gaza. I'm going to own Gaza. We're going to take Gaza. We're going to control Gaza. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to make it great. We're going to make it beautiful. That's what we're going to do. And everybody looked around and said, what the fuck did he just say? I believe the first time he said it was in a press conference with Netanyahu at the Oval Office, at the White House. And he was like, we're going to take Gaza. We're going to own Gaza. Everybody was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not a thing. You can't just say, we're now going to steal this massive piece of land and do what we want with it. That's not a thing. But this is Trump. He does shit like this. He says shit like this. He said it about Cuba, too. We're going to take you. I'm going to take Cuba. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. I can do what I want with it. Literally the logic of a rapist while talking about an independent country. So what does this remind you of? Well, guys, he wasn't kidding. He wasn't kidding when he posted that video of the new Gaza where there's all these resorts and there's people on the beach and there's fucking belly dancers who look trans and Trump and Netanyahu are sipping an alcoholic beverage by a pool, and there's golden statues to Trump in Gaza. He wasn't kidding. This is his actual fucking vision. If you don't remember what I'm talking about here, let me play it for you. This is something Trump posted. Elon Musk eating while on the beach. Belly dancers with beards. A Trump golden balloon. A yacht. People on the beach. A city in the background that looks more like Qatar. Trump with a belly dancer. It raining money on the beach. A Trump Gaza hotel that's all gold. Golden statue to Donald Trump in the middle of fucking Gaza. A Trump Gaza gold store, again, raining money with Elon Musk. Trump and Netanyahu sitting by the beach. Absolutely incredible. Guys, they weren't kidding. I don't know how to get across to you just how evil and demonic these people are.
So, unfortunately, this Board of Peace has stolen your money to do this stuff, U.S. taxpayer money to do this. And I think this is one of the most underreported stories going on right now. The Guardian released the proof that they have no accountability to Gaza. And he right now is being treated like it's like the Gaza is being treated like, I don't even know what to say, man. They're killing people, then stealing the land. There's a genocide going on, and this one of the most worst humanitarian crises where they're guarding any type of humanitarian aid being brought there. So people are starving, and this is like people like you and me, man. And I always say this. Listen, this could be us. We're just lucky to be born in this country in this time. And people have been born like people act like Palestine and Iran are places like third world countries and who are used to being bombed and bombing. Their whole life has been bombs over Baghdad. It's not been that way. These are countries that are literally like us, have social media, have running water, so have internet capabilities. People who are tech geniuses, people who are great architects and construction. And we're going to take their land because for some reason we feel like we have a right to do this. We are in a war that has been chosen to be in by Netanyahu and our president Donald Trump. This is a war of choice. They did not strike us. They did not hurt us as a country. And I just want you guys to understand that They chose to go into this war. Then they chose to take $1 billion of your money to hold. So for when they start building their own resorts in Gaza, and I want that to just to sit with you for a little bit, and if you're okay with that, you know, and I hope that this. I'm not saying it's going to wake anybody up, but I hope that this just gets to be more known of how deep the corruption has been going with this president, and that we start to talk about it more. Because as much as people are like, yeah, it's corrupt, and the more we just act as if this corruption is normal, or just act like there's nothing we can do about it, the least we can do is talk about it. And I get outrage don't change much, but eventually outrage turns into organization. That's what I'm praying for, is that the outrage hopefully turns into organization, and we start to make it more of a national conversation so that people can start to mobilize against this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You might be right, Matthew.
I think the biggest point of this all is that he has somehow convinced other people to ride the coattail to be above the law, right? Because as much corruption as we speak about with him, there's little that's been done, right? There's little that has been identified with. There's little that has been denounced, right? There's not many people who are looking at the current state of affairs and and the atrocities that he's committing, and saying that, you know what, we don't vibe with that. We got a lot of people, like we call them, cowards, scared to even be able to even call out, like, hey, he's doing this, I don't agree with it. Like, you don't have to condemn him. You don't have to, call him. I think that's one of the big things that, as Democrats, and like we was, I did, I had some adverse kind of thoughts with how direct Jasmine Crockett and others were, or how Kamala went about saying, we got to stop Trump. But I really do think that the mindset of stopping someone who has the mindset of, you can't stop me, that's like the movable force beating the immovable object. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that dude is ready for anything that you think that you can present to him. Because again, when he wasn't president, when he had no protection, when he had no House and no Senate and no signatures that can get him out of a jam, and niggas try to get him on 92 counts of sexual misconduct and rape and all of these disgusting, nothing stuck to him.
Yeah.
Nothing stuck.
Same people that.
So now we're talking about some corruption. Now we're talking about some corrupt. When everybody's corrupt, right? That's the thing. Everybody's corrupt. Well, what's the corruption? Like you said, Stephen A. Smith, dumbass. Everybody in them padded their pockets, right? Well, how did a lawyer from Arkansas, like Bill Clinton, or if every president pads their pocket? Nobody's padded their pockets to $1 billion fucking dollars, or tripled their net. This nigga Jay-Z. Put me anywhere on God's green earth. I tripled my worth. Motherfucker, he tripled what his worth by being president. Yeah, and the billions.
Yeah. The same people who have condemned him are now kissing his ass. It's the same motherfuckers. JD Vance, number one, vice president. Marco Rubio. There are people who are on CNN and Fox who said they were never Trumpers, who are now kissing his ass every fucking week. And they're willing to sell out their country and sell out the people that they say they support and they're trying to fight for favor within this administration, and to line their own pockets within the corruption. It's almost like if you can't beat them, join them, and they chose to join them and join
They
them, while
absolutely wanted to join them.
yeah, while spouting Christian values, while saying that they're for all human beings being equal and all that bullshit, while still going against birthright citizenship and still removing civil rights and the history, black history, consistently removing, peeling back and trying to teach people in schools only about the Bible, and only these are the same people that are just sycophants. But what I feel like we don't talk about enough is those people. 75,000 people have been murdered in Palestine, bro. So on those dead bodies, you're trying to build all this shit. This is what this is about. This is what this is about.
No.
No respect for human life. No respect for the humanity of people that are different than you. And it's sick to my stomach because I really do believe that it's evil. I really do believe that we're in a space where it's not like right versus blue, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. It's good versus evil, and some people are fucking sellouts, and they don't care. They will sit and support this wretchedness as long as they get to be on the side of benefit.
Well, I also think that people take for granted that as much Christian touting and belief that people have, people live in the flesh.
Yeah, homeboy,
Right? People,
Matt Chu is saying once you get rich, you get bored. What else can you do? He says, we have to learn love and kindness. They tell us that while they pay their way out of multiple sexual allegations. And you're right. It's the rich versus the rest of us. And we gotta stand up, bro. We gotta come together. People who think like that, people who understand that we have to learn love and kindness, have to also understand that you have to love and kindness to people who can love and have kindness. But there is a level that comes to where you have to wield your sword and fight for what's right. Whether that's using your voice, whether that's organizing politically, whether that's I'm not promoting any violence, but I'm saying that you have to call people out for what the fuck they're doing in this world. Because I can't. I as much as I want to love my enemy, it gets hard to live in that love consistently with them if they're using that love for weakness and then continuing to do these crimes. So that's where I fall. I don't know. That's where I fall.
well, I mean, again, the comment of we're stuck down here, meaning down here, fighting each other over skin color for no reason is we cannot come together until we truly hate them, right? And the them is I don't see how anybody can right now. Trump ran on, well, I can't believe you believe these politicians. We can't believe nobody that owns a business. I'm like I don't
I can't say that.
give
I
a
can't say that. I can
no.
say corporations, but I mean I don't know people who are honest people who own businesses.
Hey, show them to me. No, I'm just playing. But no, to your point, corporations. I think realistically, the biggest thing that we have to kind of be able to come together with is that privatization of schools, healthcare, donations, you know what I'm saying? Like political affiliations, like the privatizations of who you align with, who you're affiliated with, that type of autonomy, it needs to be displaced. It needs to be eradicated. Just because the American people deserves transparency. And I think the reason why there is no transparency is because if we see through all of the shit, we will hate them. We will come after them.
Yeah.
We will revolt.
Pitchforks
Right?
and not even just pitchforks, guns. People got guns now.
On me.
It's not just pitch
Y'all,
points.
nigga, y'all done preached this motherfucking Second Amendment so much. I got me an AR. Nigga, what's that? Legally.
Yeah.
Legally.
Legally, yes.
I got a serial number and
Yes.
everything on mine, brother. But no, y'all.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
Look at what
that
happened with
realistic.
Luigi Mangione. Like you're right. Like people are gonna get to a point where enough is enough, and we know y'all got more than enough. We know we got a trillionaire.
More than enough.
That's disgusting. Elon must be
And
ashamed of himself.
Nah, nigga,
Same dude doing the Seek Heil and all this.
Bezos trying to get there with real, because Elon, they talking like he a fake trillionaire, but there's no real fake trillionaire. But nigga, Bezos trying to touch the trill, like Bezos trying to see that in liquid. Nigga on me, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bezos making $26 billion a day because we can't get off that motherfucking app.
Yo, shit,
you know
I hate
what
guns
I mean?
too. I don't got a gun. Like I'm like, yo, me and Chris met, we were roommates, and I told him, I was like, yo, I'm anti-war. I'm anti-war. Like I'm really a peaceful guy. Like I don't really want to support the NRA and get a gun, but the way that they fucking test us here, and in our face, playing in our face with this corruption, and the way they play in our face with stealing our bread, stealing our money, and then we have Elon Musk doing a Hail Hitler symbol, and people over here saying that they're gonna steal this and steal that in our face, and that the Trump president has completely stole our taxpayer money to give to January 6th rioters, stole our money to build a whole organization for people to make a resort out of Gaza, and the lack of humanity and the lack of civil rights and removing history of Black Americans. All this stuff makes me feel like I got hate for these niggas. I don't want to, but I genuinely am like, yo, we gotta wake the fuck up. This is not okay. Like we should be talking about this shit every day as a people. And I get it. We got bills to pay. We got family to take care of. We got other priorities. But until we can understand that that's why they're holding us back, is that they want us to be fucking batteries for these corporations and use our life force to just make them richer and richer. Until we say fuck it, we're not going to work.
Well, I mean, that's until Ford called people back and said, "Hey, we're sorry. We're gonna bring about 300 of y'all back to work because AI ain't really moving fast like we need to." You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, they will always be able to supplement how they treat us by treating some of us away, and that's where we will always be divided, because when you have those at the top, that's going to drop down crumbs to the bottom, but only to a specific few, so they can eat just a little bit better. They will be the ones that you hear say, "I ain't never did nothing bad to me."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't never did nothing bad to me.
Exactly.
And then that's when we'll always have that end fight.
Yeah, those are the people who cross they what do they call them? They cross the picket line.
Cross the picket line. Cross the picket line. Yeah.
Yeah, they cross the picket line to become on the in crowd. But hey, I don't give a fuck. There's only so many that can be on the in crowd. There's more of us on the out crowd. You can get your ass whipped too. That's how I look at it. You used to be with us, you can get it too. You and your boy both can get clapped. Both of you. Shit. But yeah, man. I just wanted to bring that to people's attention tonight and talk a little bit about this, board of peace, which he's trying to compete with the UN. He wants to override the UN, which is incredibly insane. This guy is delusional, but I can't say he's delusional if it's working. So on some level, we need fighters. We need people who have influence to fight and say this is wrong. So until we continue to fight back, he's gonna keep taking liberties into his own hands and making shit worse. So that's all I want to do today. Tomorrow, we got a whole episode called Receipts, and we're going to tackle his entire Project 2025 agenda. I know it's back-to-back Trump nights, Trump watches, essentially. But Project 2025 goes beyond Trump. It goes up to, and we're going to look into the document, where it came from, where it started, and why, and how it influenced the political landscape today. For sure. Project 2025 is something that was almost like a mythical, what was it, urban legend for a while, but nah, that shit was real. So
it was right in front of our face. Right in front of our face too.
Yeah,
Yep.
and people acting like, oh man, this is just you guys shouldn't be afraid of Trump. Nah, we're seeing it now. Y'all underplayed the dangers of Trump. But we're gonna talk about that tomorrow and give y'all receipts on this pod. But yeah, is there any other topics you want to discuss? I know that we were talking about the bombing in Iran in the opening monologue. Let's keep it there. I think that we understand that people are at risk right now over there, and I send prayers to those who are living through the Strait of Hormuz and in Gaza right now, who are dealing with this and who are not talked about enough. That's people who have lives out there who are trying to get by. May they get through this tough time out there. There is no peace treaty essentially, or ceasefire. They started bombing each other again. So one thing I want to say about this stuff is that I do not see a way out of this war, bro. Because if he's saying he's going to destroy Iran and they're saying that they're not going to come to diplomacy, when does this end? Or does it ever end? Is this really going to be the World War III? Because there's no way to get out of this. He's fucked. He got us into a war that we can't even get out of.
Well, it won't. I don't think it'll be a World War III. I think the next president will pull us out. Pause. I think he will lose so much ground because this is why you're sending prayers out to people. I do want to send prayers out to our military members,
yes,
who are out there serving in a war that I'm pretty sure they had no idea they was getting themselves into. You know what I'm saying? So for all my boys out there, shout out to my Marines. Shout out to our Navy service, our Navy people who get us out there, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. They are in the tough times themselves and their families, right? And so this is what I wanted to get to. We always say things don't change people until it makes it to people's doorsteps.
Yeah.
All of these people who got sons and back the military and everything like that, at some point in time when they're saying, yeah, let's wipe Iran off the face of the earth, they can be like, my sister ain't come home. My brother ain't come home. My son ain't come home. My daughter ain't come home. My niece, my nephew. Like,
yeah, man.
When that happens, and then you then start to be like, they died for
oh my God,
a choice that wasn't theirs or ours as
that wasn't
American
even
people?
necessary. We had a JCPOA already with Obama with Iran on the Iran deal, on them not getting nuclear weapons. He just doesn't want Obama to have credit for shit, and that's why he threw that shit out the window. We had a plan in place to prevent them from having a nuclear weapon. He threw it in the trash and ripped it apart to make his own plan, and ended up in a fucking war. Because he can't control them, and he can't control Israel. The guy's a fucking idiot. Sorry.
No, I mean, that's. I think you just answered the question. Like, we're under control of somebody who has never been able to have control, right? And doesn't know what to do with control, while also not being able to control those around him. Like, just think about that dynamic, right? A motherfucker, like we talk about, a lane with some money, it's always gonna be a lane. You know what I'm saying? A lane with some power, always gonna be a lane. This nigga's both of them. He a lane with money and power. He ain't right. We always talk about those police officers, right? The ones who ain't never get none. The ones who ended up being a late bloomer or went to the gym and just puffed themselves up and then they become a cop or some shit like that. That shit go to here. Right? And then you get through one internal investigation and it gets swept under the rug, or you get one administrative leave and you get back to go back on the force again, or you actually get fired from one fucking force and get hired on to another force again.
Yeah.
There's no real consequence to how you receive and identify with the control that you have. And also know that when you're in these situations with somebody out in these streets, nigga, you don't control if that nigga about it or not. And you don't control your people that are, you don't control them if they snitch you out. You don't control if they don't motherfucking blackmail you. That you don't control you don't control none of that. So now you're just stuck in your own prism of what you think power's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So unfortunately that prism of power is our president. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. That's that parallels it fits, bro. Can't even front, bro. You hit the nail on the head. He's a guy who's honestly been a reject, because he was born into wealth, but he's always been a loser. And people made fun of him. Even Obama made fun of him at the presidential congressional, caucus. I think, I forget what they do. The dinner they have every year. And ever since then, he's like, I'm running against him, and he then came out with the birther movement, and they created a monster. Even in New York, because I'm from New York. None of the elites in New York don't fuck with that nigga. They don't really like him until can do something for them. Which now he's in president, so now he can do something for them. James Dolan didn't fuck with that nigga before. He didn't really fuck with Trump. He's not down with that dude until now. You can do something for me. So I just hope that people are safe, like the military and people out there in Gaza and Palestine and the Strait of Hormuz and Bahrain and Kuwait are are not just being pawns in this whole thing, and I hope like they don't just start bombing recklessly on people who have nothing to do with the choices that are being made right now, because these are lives at stake, bro. And we act like, oh, we're at war and we just move on with our life. Yeah, all my gas prices, all my grocery prices, bro. People lost the kids, bro. They lost the whole family, and it's sick. It's sick. Yeah. I think you're muted, bro.
my bad. I was manually muting myself because I didn't want to be crunching and smacking in your ear off the up my munchies.
That's all good.
So
All right, but yeah,
I
man.
was saying
Go ahead.
I was saying there's no easy transition out of here. You know what I'm saying with that, but I did want to kind of uh, give a shout out to the World Cup as I
Yeah.
was watching earlier today.
Tonight, I mean tomorrow night when we're on the pod, we're gonna have the U.S. match going on.
Yeah, U.S.
Yeah.
play. Yes, U.S. play tomorrow at 9, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the schedule.
8, 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so
But
close. So it could be 9. Yeah.
I watched the great Kylian Mbappe. That boy, some nice boy.
Hmm.
France played Sweden today, won 3-0. Kylian had 2 goals, I believe, in that game. And now he's tied with Lionel Messi for 6 goals in this World Cup alone right now. So the Golden Boot, which is like the MVP award or something,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, for a World Cup, it's between literally 2 of the best niggas that we've ever seen and ever, nigga, Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. So that is pretty fun to see. Also, Mexico just won. They played today while we was on the pod. They played Ecuador. Also, Mexico just won. They played today, and they beat Ecuador 2-0. And Norway snuck by the Ivory Coast. I watched. Clearly, I didn't watch the Mexico game because I was here. But Norway versus Ivory Coast, I watched with the youngs at the house,
Okay.
just chilling in the crib. And then, of course, Mbappe is must see TV, and he played in New York, so I know MetLife was yapping. I know MetLife was crazy over there. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, man, I just wanted to, when you were saying ill and things were sick, what clicked in my mind was I saw one of the illest goals today, man. I gotta get that clip. I gotta get that clip to show. But yeah, man, shout out to the World Cup. Shout out to America. America is catching a life lesson in how the world works. I don't know if you've been hearing the reports about how some restaurant establishments are upset that the world doesn't tip. And the world's like, nigga, that's not my job. Nigga, pay them better. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the world showing us a little something. You know what I mean? Because yeah, they be tripping with this gratuity, nigga. Fuck they talk about.
You want to hear something else?
What you got?
Let me see if I can share this real quick. Let me hear this. Let me see. One sec. Let me see if I can find a good video footage. Okay.
Oh, you found something.
The winner of 2026 FIFA World Cup is not a country, not a player, but a dating app. Yes, Tinder. Forget France, forget Argentina or 8-minute play. Football ko bhi bhuli jao. Because this time Tinder was the MVP. According to recent reports, international Tinder activities in host cities has jumped by a massive 47%. US में more than 60% activity spike हुई है और मेक्सिको में Tunisia versus Sweden मैच के around more than 80%. मतलब सोचो तो ये काफी सेंस भी बनाता है. Millions of people from different countries, same stadium, same celebration, same after party. इन सब में football तो बस एक conversation starter बन गया. So while some people are busy chasing the golden boot, others are busy finding their soulmate, dinner dates, or even travel buddies. So tell me honestly, is the FIFA World Cup still the world's biggest football tournament? या फिर ये बस एक dating event बन चुका है? And for more such content, follow
60% increases in Tinder matches. I'm not sure it's for.
Ain't nobody trying to find no motherfucking nigga. They trying to fuck something. Nigga, there's so many hoes been put up in the U.S. Nigga.
Ain't no travel buddies. Ain't no
travel where, nigga. Nigga, I'm about to fuck you in this porta potty, bitch. You know what I'm saying? We finna get down right behind the stadium, nigga.
Oh God, man, that's
I ain't gonna hold you, nigga. It's so many beautiful non-American people that pulled up.
Beautiful woman, no, there's some beautiful women, man, out there, man. It's like a trend. I'm just
fuck beautiful women. What Chris Brown say? Beautiful people. It's some beautiful people out here, nigga. Nigga, I saw some men out here too. I'm like, goddamn, nigga. You know, shit.
I've been, maybe I would assume so, but my eyes have been on something else, bro. Like, I mean, okay.
Yeah, some of them roll patch. Sometimes they're like your eyes. You be like, damn, you are y'all friends? That's you.
I gotta travel more, man. I gotta travel more. It's gonna be fire to see, just different cultures and different people that are beautiful. I just gotta get out there more. But yeah, shout out to Tinder. Shout out to people getting out there and finding soulmates or travel buddies.
Nigga, fuck Tinder, nigga. Tinder got me married, 3 kids right now.
You should be bigging them up. You should be getting the sponsorship for that.
Nigga, sponsor, yeah, help babysit these motherfuckers today.
Yo, man, but yeah, that's what I heard about that's what I heard about the World Cup. People out here getting down.
They getting busy, and I'm gonna be honest, Cape Verde got enough busyness to go around. They like meat and dark meat. It's crazy, nigga. Nigga, they got both corners of the market, the breast and the thigh, the wings. They go crazy.
I need to visit, Cape Verde. Damn, they stacked over there too.
On me, nigga.
On me. And they can dance.
Nigga,
yeah,
I'm tired of Argentina and Portugal being down here, nigga. Where all the brown bitches at down here playing in Miami, nigga?
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
Anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, Match, man. I appreciate you pulling up, chat, man. Fuck with us. We, Tomorrow gonna be a little heavy too, you know,
Yep.
but it seems like you getting a little you catching the vibe, you know what I mean? We're
Yeah,
not
man.
we're not always political, but you know, most days we gotta be because this shit is bad out here. You know what I'm saying? But I want you honestly, you for specifically, my dog, pull up on Friday. Got something for you, something fun. We talking conspiracy corner. Go ahead, play my. You got my bumper? Yeah, my bumper. You
I got to swap.
conspiracy?
I had to swap it out today for the Trump
Okay.
watch. But tomorrow I got for
We got conspiracy corner on Friday, and we talking MK Ultra, my dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man.
pull up
Thank you
on
for
us, and we
joining
gonna
us.
have some
Thank you
fun on
for
that, man.
being in the chat. We are we are now officially like 2 months in. 2 months in with this pod. We are
Yeah.
definitely trying to grow slowly but surely. So thank you for your support. Thank you for showing up, and anybody else who's watching this, thank you for tuning in, liking. Please do like, subscribe. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. So if you're on TikTok, follow us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, follow us on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, and then find us on the shoulders. Everything is podcasts. And where we post all our clips, and keep you updated on what's going on everything that matters. Because we are the culture, and we are the zeitgeist, we are the culture. And yeah, man, we shall see y'all tomorrow. We shall see y'all tomorrow where we will be talking Project 2025 and giving y'all the receipts on Project 2025 and what's been going on. So yeah, man, everything is everything. All is love. Keep love first in your hearts and spirits because the world needs it. Like you said, love and kindness. That's what we need to be about. Love and kindness overrules all in life, and love defeats evil in the long run. I truly believe that. Chris, anything else you got to say before we get up out of here?
Hey, nah, man, y'all smoke something tonight, fuck something tonight, man. Hopefully y'all do both. If not, hands always work.
Most def, man. Take y'all. Have a good night, guys. Peace out.
Peace out, peace.